Hey guys, it's Andy Coleman. I have an incredible guest with me here today. This is Jazmine from eXp Realty, multiple icon agent, and she has done 198 deals last year alone. Every single real estate agent is going to want to watch this interview. Jazmine, it's so nice to have you. Why don't you start off by introducing yourself and let us know, how did you do so many deals last year?
My name is Jazmine Clausen-Soir. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. Thank you for having me, Andy. And congratulations to you too for doing that more amount of rentals. And
Not by much, only 50 more.
well, it's a lot. And the thing is, it is a lot because most real estate agents and just the normal person wouldn't understand what it takes to get into this type of business with rentals. It is a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication. And also it's not a cheap ticket. You do have to pay to play. And I can say I've learned so much. I'm super appreciative of how it just came about. And I have a great track record of already being part of 5 different developments. And it's only up from here. And it all started by showing up.
So when you say developments, 5 developments, right? Because I do mainly like single family homes, townhomes, like MLS properties, and I get about half a month's rent commission. Those are the majority of my 250 deals that I do, plus some house sales. For you, when you say you did 198, and I think you said 184 of those were actually rentals, so similar, numbers in terms of like rentals versus purchases. How many of those were like apartment complexes? How many of those were like MLS properties? Walk me through your commission structure and how you're getting all of these.
It all started with, well, first and foremost, it all starts with one. Everyone, just so you know, all of this type of production starts just one. All you need is one listing. Thankfully, having one listing turning into 10 listings in the area and my signs being around and being hyper local in Elizabeth, New Jersey, you get noticed. So now investors are calling you and just trying to find out what inventory you have and what you got. And my favorite question is, listen, I don't have anything for you right now, but what do you have for me? What can I work on? Do you have any availability? Do you have any vacancies? How can we work together? Let's build a relationship. And believe it or not, that's 50% of the work, asking for it. And they're like, oh, you do rentals? I'm like, I'll do it to build a relationship with you. And they're like, oh, of course. They'll give you the lockbox code and everything. You never even have to meet the client, to be honest. I think majority, I haven't met a lot of people I listed with. They don't even know how they got my number, but it's based off me calling the signs and them calling me and me asking for business. And believe it or not, expires withdrawals first thing in the morning, the rental ones. A lot of them are discouraged. All it takes is a phone call, or email, or text. So how it started is exactly just by asking for the business.
That's very interesting because you're kind of doing the opposite of me, because I'm working with tenants, for me. And if, any listeners out there don't know, I've done about 750 rentals in the past 4.5 years. I'm averaging about 250 per deal, right now. I was doing this as a solo agent before, but my deals were tenant related deals. So I was mainly working with the tenants, and you, it sounds like, are mainly doing listings. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I majority do only listings. I actually envy you because I do get all these tenant leads and I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. I either I get them into my listing or they go into a database and we keep sending them rentals, but it's a huge amount of leads that I'm not able to keep up with. So if anyone's listening and you want to be on my team, you want to help me tackle these leads, let's go. And I didn't do it alone. I have a great team who they're hustlers, and I do things a little different because I am the listing agent and the leads do come directly to me. I even have rental tours on the weeknights, 2 days a week. I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to we have a schedule. So people just schedule themselves through Calendly, or our VAs are scheduling them. And then we also do this on the weekends in 3 different counties: Union County, Essex County, Passaic County. So I'm able to almost create like a roster where people can just kind of schedule themselves through the VAs or through a link. And they're super happy because they get to just show up. It does get a little hectic because these are group events where we're having at times no one show up to 10 to 12 to 14 people show up. So it is a great momentum because you are able to rent out much faster. And I love it. It's great for content. It's great for my team because they feel like they're part of something, and I feel great because I know my listings are moving and we're able to get more. That's what this is
Yeah.
all about, getting more. So no, I'm on the opposite side. I am on listing side, and I'll say, like, out of all the listing side, here and there we'll find a really great candidate that their package is perfect, and we just slide them into something else. That's easy. But for the most part, I do have a lot of hanging fruit on, like, I'm doing the opposite. I have a lot of hanging fruit in that part. That's a place I have to improve on.
Yeah, because if you have a lot of these tenant leads, and it sounds like, I mean, you really don't have that much time to even, nurture these leads and try to find them places because you have so many listings. And I know that can be overwhelming. So for you, then, like, I was curious what you said before. You're kind of doing like an open house approach where you're just having everybody show up to a certain property on a certain day and a certain time. And I guess, like, who goes and like sits this open house? Like, how does that work exactly?
I have team members. So
Ah,
we have a WhatsApp chat, and I say, who's ready to work this weekend? I have about 4 to 5 of them are always ready. And
yeah.
they know the entire process. They know we know the application, because remember, every landlord has a different process. Some of them don't have a process, and they just want us to bring in NTN, which is National Tenant Network Screening, through an EXP. That's their vendor. Or most landlords do have their own application process. So we
Oh,
do memorize the application processes of each different landlord, and we do follow the landlord's rules. Like, hey, make sure you have this, and you have that. And we work together with the tenant on making sure we have everything. And it's completely up to the landlord. We don't pressure our landlords. We don't say anything except, hey, here's an application. Thank you. And we walk away. If
oh,
they say yes or no. If they say yes, we're getting everything going, deposits, leases, following up, getting everything done and executed. If they say no, hey, we're so sorry, they said no. And that's a part maybe where we fail. We most likely don't help them find something else, which, now that we're having this conversation, it looks like I'm going to have to work a little harder and find someone
yeah.
to help me follow up with those and get them. Maybe, we do always ask, are you ready to buy? Always.
That's yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm sure that's how you got a lot of your buyers too, is probably from your renters that you convert into buyers.
Yes, actually, the best way of getting buyers, everyone, I'm gonna give you a little secret tip. Uh, don't drive for like a month. Don't drive for like a month. Just get in the Uber. You don't have to do Zillow. Get in the Uber. I promise you, you'll sell 10 Uber drivers a house.
Oh my God. So you're saying so don't drive, get an Uber. That's actually the first time I even heard that strategy at all. So when you're going to showings, instead of driving, you want to go with an Uber driver so you could actually convince them to, like, I guess, like, rent, them a home, buy them a home, or if they have a listing, I don't know if they'll have a listing, but you could get anything that you want from an Uber driver. That's a very interesting marketing tactic, and you've seen that actually work.
I've done that. Last year, I went through a really tough time. I'm sorry, a year and a half ago, I went through a really tough time where my stress was at an ultimate high, and
Ooh,
I couldn't walk. Like, I just woke
what
up.
happened?
I just woke up with a sciatica, and I was muscle spazzing, and I couldn't even walk. It happened one
Was
day.
this like overwhelmed? Were you like burnt out and like overwhelmed?
I think I was overwhelmed. I was burnt out. I was doing sales development, and it was hard. It was really hard. But you know what? I'm so grateful for that opportunity, because if it wasn't for that opportunity, I wouldn't be half of the real estate broker that I am today. I
Oh,
wouldn't be.
so
I learned so much about new construction, how to deal with people, how to deal with expectations of new construction, how to answer the questions neutrally. And because new construction is challenging, everyone, I want to do new construction. You better be ready to stay put, be patient, and be considerate of the development team's stress, and also of the buyer or tenant who are waiting to move in, because dates always change. So no, I was very stressed, and I just got sick. It was like one day after another.
ooh,
It took me 6 months to start completely walking up straight again. I was on a walker. But you know
wow,
what? This is when I'm very grateful, because I jumped in Ubers, and I
wow.
did sell Uber drivers houses. And then
Wow, that's crazy.
I ended up meeting some that's like, listen, I'll drive you for the day. I'll drive you. And I did. I met a few that would drive me for like weeks at a time. And why was I so trusting? I don't know. I'm crazy like that. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're still here.
I'm still here. You know, I really did trust them, and they would come get me and my kids, take us to school, bring us back, and go with me for the entire day. And you know, I do say like that's a great way of getting business because a lot of Uber drivers, they're working that 7 days a week. And most of them are paying rent. They don't know they can buy a house and they're 1099. So as long as you're with the right lender, you can make that work. And as long as it's your own listing, you can get, you know, with me, everything I do is my own listing, which is probably a fault. I wish I did more buyer's agency.
No, no.
No,
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, listen, if you want to be a listing agent, be a listing agent. You know, maybe you don't like the buyer side. You know, me personally, it's actually weird. I don't like listing homes that much,
oh, wow.
which like sounds like super strange. I literally, I'm not even exaggerating. I had somebody call me maybe like a week ago. They wanted me to list 2 of their rental properties just for rentals, and I'm like, oh crap, like oh my god, like I can't really turn it down because it's like free money basically. I want to make a few $1,000s, but at the same time, I'm like dreading it. I got to go there. I got to take the pictures. I got to go and, do the whole listing agreement. That I got to go throw it in the MLS and I got to go, I don't know. It's just like for me, I don't know. I love my tenants and I just get to work with them. I get to find them places or my buyers. I just feel like it's easier, but I know at the same time, it's also super easy. Once you do that legwork, right? Like you do the photos, the listing agreement, put it on the MLS, like then it becomes super easy. Is that like your take on it too?
Yes and no. It's a lot of so listing agreement first, pictures second, MLS, and not no you can no MLS no longer merges onto Zillow Rental Manager. So now you have to log
Oh,
into Zillow. Yeah, now you have to log into Zillow Rental Manager. So you either need a
huh.
contract, you either need a contract or you don't, depending on what's going on. Facebook Market, and you have to literally place it everywhere you can. It's called Avail, Avail. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just post it everywhere you can. That is at your resource because MLS is no longer merging to most of the syndications. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but they're not. You have to add.
That's actually incredible. Let me tell you why. Not for listing agents, not incredible for listing agents, but for what I do, it's incredible. Because, like I said, like we're on the opposite end of the spectrum. So most agents are not like you or like me at all. They hate doing rentals. I'm sure you have stories about this, which I'll talk about, in a second. But for the most part, like I'm taking these properties that these listing agents are posting on, the MLS, and they're allowing me to advertise the properties. They're like, I don't want anything to do with this rental. I'm doing it as a favor. Like you go and advertise this. You try to bring me a tenant, to make this easy for me. So that's how I do the majority of my business. I don't know. Were you aware of that?
That you're able to advertise and find a tenant. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll explain a little bit. So, and for anybody who has ever seen like, one of my real estate videos on my YouTube channel, like you'll know I've talked about this a lot. So basically in Florida, we have what's called any broker advertise, right? It's a little section on the MLS, and it's either going to say, yes, you can advertise this property, or no, you cannot. If it says no, obviously leave it alone. Or you could reach out to the listing agent and ask for specific permission, which I've done before. But if it says yes, you're allowed to advertise it. Now, if you're listening, if you're a real estate agent in a different state and like maybe, in Jersey, you might not have this in your MLS. This might not be a thing, right? I'm guessing you don't have it in your MLS.
No.
You don't. So, which is fine. So technically all you have to do is reach out to the listing agent and ask them, just be like, hey, listen, like, I'm a new agent, I'm a struggling agent, whatever you want to say, and be like, I want to advertise your property to try to bring you a tenant. Then you can go and throw it up on the Facebook marketplaces and, et cetera. And I do all of my business that way. That's how I did 250 deals a year, by doing that exact strategy.
That's amazing strategy. And I tell all real estate agents to come see me. You don't have to be the same brokerage as me. Would I like for you to join my team? Absolutely. But you don't have to. Come see me. I'm happy to work together. I even give you the professional photos. I'll give you everything you need, every information, access. As long as you're a licensed real estate agent, I am a go-giver, and you can come to the building and you can work. I like, and something else I do very different with all new development listings. We have someone on site 7 days a week. So
Oh,
walk-ins and income producing activities. I tell all my agents, if you're not busy while you're there, that's your fault. You have tons of leads to follow up on. We have walk-ins to follow up on. You have content to make. You have landlords and sellers and us and neighborhood search to reach out to. So there's so much to do while you're there. And the walk-ins are a bonus. So that's what
yeah.
I have to. I do that differently too. And the pay structure, to answer your question about
Oh, yeah.
pay structure is very different. Every developer and every landlord is very different. 90% of our listings, tenant pays the fee. And
Interesting. That's different than Florida, because Florida, like 99% of the time, no, but almost I would say 99.9% of the time, the landlord pays the commission.
not Jersey, tenant pays.
Wow.
Tenant pays
I
one.
actually knew that though.
Oh,
Yeah, no, my buddy lives there. He's told me that before.
oh yeah. So tenant pays the fee. There are some developments. Developments that do pay us a month or half a month a flat fee, which we're very grateful for, and we don't collect anything from. They do that so we don't collect from the tenant, and
Yeah.
where we are very appreciative of that as well, because it does make it easier. I feel like those developments and those listings do go faster, but that doesn't say when tenant pays a fee doesn't go fast. We've had listings where we listed one day, tenant paid a fee, and we're like, okay, that's it, we're done. And so when people
So,
say tenants don't pay the fee, that's not true. Tenants pay the fee all day, every day, as long as they get what they want and they're happy with the product, they do pay.
so let me ask about that really quick, right? Because here in South Florida and like many other states like Texas, Arizona, California, New York, even Connecticut, I mean, I can name a whole bunch of states that the landlord pays the commission. Typically, it's like half a month's rent. So for you, like, is the tenant paying like half a month's rent to each side, like their agent if they have one, and then the listing agent, like you, like how does that work?
Exactly. So if it's on MLS and a real estate agent brings their tenant, let's say, Andy, you're in New Jersey and you brought me a tenant, your client is making out two checks or two money, I'm sorry, two
Mm.
money orders certified checks, one to EXP and, oh, whoa, one to EXP in Jersey, one to EXP in Florida.
So they would basically do first month's rent as obviously, the deposit, which is normal, and then that would, well, no, then it would be last month's rent and security deposit, and then you're saying then another check on top of that for half a month's rent for, like, your listing agent side, your EXP in Jersey, and then half month's rent for my buyers, well, tenants agent side, for EXP. Is that correct? So 4 months total?
No. So good
No.
question. No. It's security. Security is either depending on development. Some developments charge 500, some charge 750, some charge 1,000, some charge 1 month, some charge 1 month and a half. And this is just across the board.
Mhm.
It's different. Some landlords charge different types of security, but for the most part, let's say it's a two-family home, it's 1 month or 1 month and a half security, 1 month rent, and then there's a broker's fee, and then the application.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting, because you know what? That makes more sense to me now. I honestly, I never, because my buddy is doing a similar thing that I'm doing. I taught him how to kind of do this in Jersey, and I never even asked him, because I always thought in my head that they were paying 4 months, first last security plus another month to the brokerages. But that's interesting. So it's only 3 months total, first security, like typically, obviously, standard first
Yeah.
security plus half a month to each brokerage. So it's basically the same exact amount of money, move-in money, as it is here in Florida and other states. So that's why it's still practical to do it, because if it's $3,000 to move in, they're still coming up with, give or take $9,000 either way, wherever you are.
Yes. And,
Wow, that's interesting.
and to also piggyback off what you said, I used to get made fun of for doing rentals.
Mm.
I used to, or she does rentals, and they would. I remember being in an office, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she does rentals." Like they'll laugh at it, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I do rentals. I don't mind doing rentals. I'm humble. People don't think I'm humble. Like when they first meet me, some people get the perception that I'm stuck up or like I'm very serious, but I'm very humble. I'm kind, and I understand what it's like to have a lot and have nothing. So I don't judge
Yeah.
anyone based on anything. If you can be as rich as the world, I'm going to treat you the same. You can be facing poverty, I'm going to treat you the same. And I will do a rental because the reason why I do rentals is because I know rentals are owned by landlords and I want to represent landlords and developers. And that one rental that I did in 2008 has brought me to where I am today, where I'm able to say I've sold out developments, where I'm able to say that I've housed families, where I'm able to say those developers say, "Hey, sell this house for me. Hey, sell this other house for me. Hey, do me a favor. Can you put your sign on this house and sell it for me?" Oh, of course, no problem. On my way. I don't
It,
even question it. I don't even ask what it is. I don't even ask how much. I just say, yeah, sure. I'm on my way. I put the sign up, take pictures, and then hey, I just got the pictures. Look at them. Okay, so let's list what price, terms. Let's go. So like I do a lot of things backwards. Because they're expecting service. So if I just say,
yeah,
okay, let's sit down and do paperwork, they get bored. They're like, oh my gosh, typical real estate agent. No, okay, no problem. Let's go. I call my photographer. Let's go over here. Let's do a video. And next thing you know, I'm showing a presentation to them. And they're like, oh, great. Thank you. You stepped on it right away. So like, I'm also really big on presentation. All my team members, we do suits or we dress up. That's what I do love about real estate. We get to dress up every day. So I always tell everyone, dress up every day. Like you're just dress up, look beautiful,
yeah,
presentable, be clean cut, and be happy. And I'm really big on that. We have to be very well dressed. We have to present ourselves very well. And thankfully, everyone's on board. And the team members that do listen and they do follow what I tell them and they show up every day, they do have a lot of opportunity from me because I do send them all the leads. I'm like, oh, hey,
yeah.
buyer. Hey, here's a buyer. I just told one of my other agents I had a buyer. I had a lead for a 3.4 17 unit building. And I said, hey, I have a buyer for it. She already showed it to 4 people. And I think we're putting an offer in. So like I give
$3.4 million development,
yeah,
multifamily.
yes, 17 units.
Oh, wow. So that's interesting because like I technically that's commercial, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, EXP. Yes.
Right? No, it's fine. I think we're allowed to do commercial, but like, I'm just curious. I've never personally done a commercial deal before. Is the commission on that the same? Because it's funny you said this too, because I literally sold a $3.4 million single family home, and I mean, guess where the buyer came from too?
A tenant, a landlord.
A renter. A renter. No, you were right the first time. Yeah, a renter. And if I had never worked with that renter, actually, a good friend of mine now. It's funny too because like not only can you get really big sales because I think I made an $85,000 commission off of that deal. But you make friends too. You make like relationships and everything, which is really really cool. But for yours too, how much is that? I'm just curious for a commission. Like is it the same 2%, 2.5%, 3%?
Depends on what the landlord has agreed to. In this case, it's a 2%, which
Okay.
my team member and I will be splitting. So it's 1 and 1.
Yeah, it's still a lot. It's still like 60, what I think like $65,000 probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of money. So splitting with your team member, you're gonna make about, whatever, 30-ish grand, and they're gonna make about 30 grand all from doing rental. So here's the question then, because that brings up, the money aspect of it. Right here in Florida, I'm in South Florida here, like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach County area. I'm making around $2,000 average per tenant that I work with, right? So what's it like in your area per tenant you're working with? No, it would be landlord. So per landlord you're working with, how much on average are you typically bringing in, for all these 180 something deals that you're doing?
Oh, that's a really good question. And a lot of you will frown right now. I'll make anywhere between, because I am splitting between team members. Okay. So I'm
Oh,
splitting between team members. I'm not doing this by myself. And if I am doing it by myself, I do make more money. So I'm getting anywhere between 350 to 2,500, depending on
okay.
deal. So if I'm doing it, like it depends on the deal and it depends on the development. So if I'm doing it myself at a development by myself, I'm making a month. If I'm
A
splitting
full
it
month.
a full month by myself,
Ooh,
which I do at
that's
least
great.
I do like maybe 2 of those a month, which are great.
Yeah.
And then with my team members, I'm splitting because my team members are working and I acknowledge
Yeah.
that. And I'm not a penny picker. I'm not taking advantage of anyone. If you show up every day and you're working, even if you didn't work the deal, I'm going to put you on it and get you like a 5% or 10% referral on my end, not on the other person's end, just because, they're working. And
Yeah. Got it. Damn.
the last thing you want is for your team member to be walking around on E, and you don't,
Yeah.
people
No, you
don't,
don't want that.
no, we don't want that. People don't feel good when they don't have money or they can't pay their bills. People, you want your
No.
team member to stay active and say, you know what, this is good. This money will get me by for the week. Let me go put a deal together. And that encourages them. Like, listen, rentals is spending money. The sales is what gets us paid. So I'm always encouraging listings, Vulcan 7. That's what I really tell them. Like, let's do the Vulcan 7. We're doing expires. We're hitting the foreclosure list. So like we're doing
what is that? What is Vulcan 7? I don't know what that is.
7 is a triple dialer that it calls like a list on its own, and you just kind of pick a zip code or a street that you want them to call, and they'll just call door to door.
Interesting. So you're mainly focusing on like for rent by owner, right? Like
No.
those kind of listings.
No, I
You're
get
doing for sale by owner.
for sales. No, I don't even do for sale by owners. I'm calling door to door asking if they want to sell. Everywhere I have a listing, I'm calling door to door.
So that means like they don't have to have an old listing. Like you're literally just calling just anybody in that development.
Yeah. Or just
neighborhood.
door to door. Yeah. Like I'm calling door to door. Like, hey, you saw my sign across the street.
Jeez.
Hey, you saw my sign. Oh, hey, yeah, I saw it. Oh, how are you? Hey, I'm Jazmine. I just want to let you know I'm here in the neighborhood. If you ever need anything, I'm here to work. And believe it or not, I've sold a lot of houses that way. And sometimes they won't. Sometimes, and then expires as well. I feel like the best approach with expires is emailing them like at 5 a.m. and saying,
Oh.
hey, I saw your property just came off the market. I'm not bothering you. I don't want to just show up to your house or call you right now. I just rather just send you an email. What happened? Because the house, I tell them all the details I think about their house. I see it's a split level. I do see like the bathroom needed some updating, but I don't really think that's a big deal. Like, is there anything I can do different to make your experience better? Believe it or not, people do respond and they're like, what do I have to do to sign up with you? And I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll send it over now. Where how can I get the keys? Oh, the lockbox is on the property. And like,
so because you mentioned 5 a.m. Is that like a tactic?
Yeah.
Why is 5 a.m. so special?
Because I think it's when most people, like, not most people, hey guys, if you don't wake up at 5, I'm sorry. But the average working person or parent that has to wake up to get their kids up, or their family, or just wake up early, they're looking at their email in the morning. Like between 5, 6, 7 people are looking at their email. People, especially the working crowd, they're looking at their email. They have to know what's
So you
going
want to be first.
on.
You want to be the very first one.
And so I keep looking up because you're on my big screen, and I keep looking at you through my screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I'm just looking straight at the camera.
So I want to be first. I want to be first. I want to be first in everything. I want my sign everywhere. And I want it, and I won't stop until, and I believe in employment. I believe in employing people. I just believe I'm putting myself on.
Look where it's gotten you, though. That desire to be first and best, and just that hunger is gotten you to the top. Because so I don't know, I don't want to explain the EXP icon thing, but how many times have you icon with EXP so far?
I've been at EXP for 3 years, 3 times.
3 times already. And for anybody that doesn't know, icon basically, I'll keep this short. It's you basically reach $105,000 in commission. You have to do 80 grand, you cap, and then you do another 20 deals after that, which is difficult. That's why rentals is kind of like a cheat code to doing those extra 20 deals after you cap. Like to do 20 purchases after you cap, that's tough. But then we get that $16,000 stock back. And I don't know if you knew this, but only 1% of the company for EXP out of like 90,000 agents, only 1% ever icons. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Every year,
you're in a very elite, group.
Well, every year I doubt myself. That's probably one of I'm so hard on myself. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna hit icon, and then I sound like I'm a bum. I couldn't believe it. What did I do with all my time? And then like a week later, I get an email like icon. I'm like, oh. And then I really didn't think I was gonna hit icon last year. I'm like, rentals icon? I don't think so. I was like, I've done a lot of rentals, but like, I don't think I'm going to hit 100%. I hit 100%. I was like, oh my gosh, I
Wow.
hit 100% on rentals. Oh my gosh. I was so happy. And then I was like, well, it's okay if I don't icon. Like I told myself that it's okay if I don't icon. And I iconed. I'm like, wow, I did it. And I honestly was really proud of myself because I truly, right
Yeah.
now, even though with the volume I do, even if with all the phone calls I make right now, I had to transfer my calls to my VAs because my phone I wouldn't be able to have this podcast with you, to be honest, if like my phone rings because all the leads are coming in. And I also use local newspapers. There are local newspapers, especially
Whoa.
in Jersey, they're classifieds. And then it's like I do like 4 different newspapers, which is like 50 a week each newspaper. And all I say is the town I have a listing in, and I say, hi, I'm a real estate agent. I have a lot of rentals in this town. I'm easy to work with. EXP Realty, my name, the office number with my extension, and my cell phone. And I'm getting people calling me in different languages. I'm using Google Translator.
Oh,
I don't know what I
so
signed up.
that's working too.
Yeah,
Geez,
it works.
you're advertising all over the place and you're just getting calls nonstop. It's very interesting because it's I mean you're kind of doing like a very similar thing as me, except like you have the listings because my phone too, it just blows up nonstop, like what I'm doing. But I don't even like here's the beauty of even working with rentals. You could do it your way where you get the listings, or you can do it my way where I just ask the listing agent if I can advertise it. And it kind of has a very similar effect, because like if you only get one side, let's say you just represent the listing agent, then you're just going to get half a month's rent commission, typically, and if you represent both sides, you'll get a full month, which is great. But if you have the tenant agent bring it to you, like, bring you the tenant, they're going to get half a month. So like that's how I operate everything. Like literally I can do 250 of those, like the tenant side, every single year. So you don't even have to get listings. But I love your strategy though, because you are doing the exact reverse and it's working basically at the same level as what I'm doing right now.
I wouldn't have it for me. I'm a mom of 3. And I hate the word single mom and doing it on my own because like people like pity that. No, I'm nothing to be pitied. I have a great life. My kids are like super athletes, super great kids, and I have a great support system. But I wouldn't have time as a tenants agent. I have to handle 3 children, handle a household,
Yeah.
handle a team of agents, VAs, because I have 10 VAs, and
10.
I have 10 VAs calling.
10.
They're calling all the leads all day long, all day long.
What?
And so
10.
I
That's
also use a calling service that I like a lot. I don't work for them or advertise for them, guys, but if you have a really high call volume, I love Answer Hero. They're amazing. You tell them the script that you want. They answer your phone. Like they say, hey, sold by Jazmine. Hi, I'm calling about the property. They already know the properties. They don't give them any information. All they do is schedule them through Calendly. And it's that simple. They take all your calls. And if there's something very important, then you start getting everything in a text message. So if you can't take the call, you're looking at your text messages and you're like, oh, let me call my seller back. And you're calling your seller back. But I do have answering services because sometimes I can't take the overload of the calls, and I do have to shut down and kind of just pick and choose who I'm talking to. So
I'm curious on how many per day, like just average, on a given day, how many calls are you getting?
I would say about 40 to 50 calls
Okay.
a day, 40 to 50 calls
Yeah.
a day. And we are scheduling at least half of them. We are scheduling at least half of them. So half of them, we don't have what they're looking for. And that's the part
Yeah.
that I'm lacking because we get them in the CRM system, but do I have someone assigned to them to find them something? I'm not,
You don't, do you?
no, that's the part that I'm
Oh, that
lacking on.
you're missing a massive, massive. If you can get, even just to start one agent, right? Assign them all of those leads where, that listing is not going to work, like your listing won't work out for them, and just do something simple. Just set them up in the MLS, right? Just have them basically, assign an agent or whatever to that person, have them call that person up and be like, hey, I'm so sorry that, my our listing wasn't going to work out for you, but what I can do is set you up directly in the MLS, and I can show you something that will work for you, right? And then all you got to do, set them up in the MLS, set them up on a subscription so they get automatic properties, basically, which acts as like a CRM, right? And then once they find a property that they like, tell them to reach back out to you for that property, and then boom, set up a showing, get your half a month's rent commission.
And
It's that easy.
And you honestly can even charge one full month. You don't even have to get half a month, because I've done that.
Really? You charge even more? Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've charged if it's half and half. So it's half and half. And if it's half and half, like the landlord pays half, which is pretty popular. Landlord pays half, tenant pays half, and you're just on tenant side, I do charge a month.
Wow. So because like, all right, so down here, our average 3-bed, 2-bath is right around, let's say $3,200 a month. What's yours over there?
Oh, so 2-bedroom, 2-bath is about, you said 3,200? Yeah, it's about the same.
3-bed, 2-bath. 3-bed, 2-bath.
3-bed, 2-bath. Yeah, so 3-bed,
Yeah.
2-bath, not a house, an apartment, depending on location and where it is, can range anywhere between 2,300 to 4,000. It really depends.
So right, the same, about $3,200, give or take, right? So it's, average, probably right around the same. So yeah, that's about $1,600 commission that you can get just for half a month's rent. And that's a good amount of money, like even just for half, right? Let's say you're not charging the full month, you're just getting half a month's rent, $1,600, like on average for a 3-bed, like commission in your pocket. That's freaking incredible. You know what? Also, I don't know if you knew what I did here, but I charge, because the tenant doesn't pay anything at all, like in terms of like, real estate fees or commissions, because the landlord pays. I charge a $300 transaction fee to every tenant that I work with. Now listen, I wouldn't advise like, an agent in Jersey to do that because the tenant's paying as it is. So I probably wouldn't do that. But if like you're listening as an agent in another state, you can charge. And if your landlord pays the commission, you can charge a fee to the tenant because they're not paying anything. So I have like a 99% success rate, basically, probably a little bit higher, for the tenant paying a $300 transaction fee because they don't pay anything whatsoever. So if I do, let's just say 20 deals in a month, and I charge that extra $300 fee, let's just say I'm bringing in, $1,600, on the commission side from the landlord. That extra 300, that will bring it up to 1,900 per deal. On 20 deals, that's an extra $6,000 a month. What is that? Like $72,000 for the entire year of just extra cash. I mean, those little tricks, it's cool because like I have my little tricks I do, you have your little tricks that you do, but it all equates to getting deals done and, bringing in a good amount of commission every single deal that you do. And the whole crazy part is it's rentals, which it's funny you said before. I remember what you said before, that you were made fun of, like agents would make fun of you before for doing rental deals. But like, look at you now, you're bringing in, I'm sure you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year right now off working with renters, which is probably like crazy. If you told me that, 4.5 years ago when I started real estate, I would have been like, no way, you can't make that much money doing rentals. Like, do you feel the same way?
So yeah, I am very grateful that of what real estate and rentals and development and sales has brought to me and my family. So like last year I made 230,000, and
nice.
Honestly, that's the most I've ever made.
That's good.
Thank you. Because I've been licensed for a long time. I've been licensed for 16 years, but I've only worked real estate full time since 1 year after COVID. I'm sorry, 1 month when COVID opened in May, at least here in Jersey, we were able to start working again in May, the end of May. And that's when I restarted my business. And I was literally at zero.
Wow.
I was literally at zero.
Yeah. Think about that, right? Think about that. You're making 200, let's just, about $250,000 working with renters. Okay. The average agent salary, I think it's, if they don't fail out of the business, that is, because I think we have like a 70% failure rate in the first year. I think it's 90% failure rate over 3 years. And most agents, if they're still in the business, we're only making like 50 grand, 60 grand, like on average. you are making 4 times, or about 4 times as much as the average agent is making, and you're doing rentals, which is literally like frowned upon, like laughed at, talked down at, and $250,000. Like, for anybody watching this right now, I just want, to basically show you another side of real estate that most brokers, team leaders, mentors, like, they don't talk about it. Like, brokerages don't really talk about this. Like, how did you even come up with the idea even to get into rentals in the first place?
My first client, you know who you are. I won't say his name. My first client ever, well, really, my first client ever, my brother referred me to him and he bought a 2-family. So thank you to my brother for always, and my sister for always throwing clients to me. And, but my first client that I prospected myself, I used to leave my business cards business to business everywhere. I can be in the nicest neighborhood. I can be in the worst neighborhood. And I happened to be in one of the worst neighborhoods. And I left my business cards at a liquor store. I just was going business to business because I was showing a house next door. So leaving my business card at a liquor store in a really bad neighborhood brought me to a client who I can't say who, but he is retired and famous. And
Whoa.
he called me and I didn't know who he was. He was like, "Hey, I want to buy a house in Newark, a 3-family. Can you find it for me?" And I said, "Sure." And I sold him like 3 houses that year. I didn't know who he was until one day, I think like 3 years later, we were outside and someone was like, "Are you this person?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, can I get your autograph?" And I was like, "Really?"
Ugh, you
Yeah.
were working over deals. Wow.
So I learned the business of buying and holding. And he had a bunch of houses and he's like, "Hey, can you rent this out for me? Hey, can you rent this out for me?" And I was like, "Absolutely, absolutely." And then before that even happened, my first two deals were 2 rentals. One was one of my friends, and I'm actually selling her house now. She bought a house for me, and now I'm selling her house. And then the other one was someone that I worked with before. So like I just said, why not? And they're not hard. You just have to have the patience for it. I and I do believe there is a strategy to rentals. Like before you go out with
Oh yeah.
anyone, have their full packet, have pay stubs, have everything loaded on a PDF, single filed, and have just everything super organized. And then this way you all you have to do is send an email out like, "Hey, here's their stuff. Here's their stuff." You're going to get a yes somewhere. So that's how I really started rentals, just by helping out people I knew. And that one client who's still my client today, I just sold 3 of his houses this year. And I stuck it in with him because I was like, this, he's my client, he's my friend, and we stuck it together. He thankfully every time he has a vacancy, I already know properties, address, his tenant's name, number, and I'm on my way. So, I think it's just about staying consistent and not saying no to the rental. Remember, your
Yeah.
developers, your clients, your sellers, your flippers, everyone has a property they're renting. So if they have a vacancy,
I'm
why not be you?
Yeah, I'm just curious though, because like I'm not even exaggerating. Probably 90% of real estate agents, maybe more, literally turn down rentals and don't want to do them. Why do you think that is? Why do you think like brokerages are not like screaming at the top of their lungs like work rental deals, work rental deals? Why is nobody talking about this? And it's been that way for, I mean, I've only been in this for 4.5 years, but from what I hear, like nobody's ever preached rentals before. Why is that?
Rentals are not rentals. For some people, they see it as a waste of time. They're like, "Oh, I'm not doing a rental, it's a waste of my time." That's what they see it as. They see it as a waste of time. They'd rather go after the check that's bigger, which I get it. Power to you. I do sales too, and including
Yeah.
all of this that I'm doing, I do sales too. So I get it, but I wouldn't turn it down. I'm not turning it down. I'm not turning down my client that's bought houses from me or is I'm going to build a relationship with, and it's building it starting with the rental. I'm not going to knock it. And just a quick story, someone gave us rooms for rent in a really bad neighborhood. They're like, "Hey, we bought a rooming house." Bad neighborhood. And now they're like, "Can you rent it out for us?" What did I say? Sure.
Yeah. You say, hell's yeah. You say, I'll take it.
Sure. And we kept showing up. We kept showing up. We kept showing up. And then when he had his hands on a luxury 4-unit townhome new construction development community, who do you think he gave it to?
You.
He gave it to me and my team. So like you just have to, ride or die almost. Like, let's go. Ride or die with your client. Why not? They're investing in you too. Believe it or not, they don't have
Yeah.
your clients don't have to give you anything. They can just Google the top best real estate brokerage in the area and just go to them and go in their office and give them everything. They don't have to use you. So I feel like it's, I do appreciate when I get business and I do give good service and I don't pressure anyone on doing anything, so that's kind of my approach.
Yeah, it's incredible, and especially for new agents too. Like, I personally feel like that's why we have such a high failure rate right now. And who knows what's going to happen with this whole NAR thing? I think it's going to be even worse. That's for another discussion. But for the most part, like new agents should be doing rentals. Like, I don't even think you should dive in and even try to touch a buyer or a seller in the very beginning. I think you should just go straight rentals, learn, how to like open up doors, how to talk to people, how to write contracts, put in offers, get a little bit of confidence, start closing some deals. You know what I mean? And then maybe if you're like, all right, it's really not for me, I want to get into the buyers and sellers, collect those big checks, then maybe do that. But like, I think every single new agent, it should be rentals, 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 rentals. Like, literally me doing that my first year, I had moved to Florida and I was a brand new agent. I knew nothing about real estate. I had like 3 contacts in my phone. I knew nobody down here in Florida. And fast forward 4.5 years later, I have over a 20,000 person database. I don't even know how many, probably 50 or 60,000 leads at this point. And I've done over 750 deals, over 1.6 million in commission at this point. And I'm still getting buyers, from these old rentals that I've done because I stay in contact with them. So it's like a long-term sustainable business plus a whole bunch of fast cash right away. Like renters, they need to rent right away. It's not like, ooh, I need to buy a house in 6 months or 9 months or 2 years from now. They're like, no, I need to move now. And you get that half month's rent commission. Like if you're in an area, where you're getting half month, because believe it or not, I don't know if I told you this, but I have a coaching program now. I teach agents literally how to do my strategy, like in depth, like, it's really, really comprehensive. And I've talked to agents across the entire country. So we are blessed, me being in Florida, getting half a month, you being in Jersey, getting, a month or half a month. That's not the same in every state. There are some states out there where they're literally only getting like $50 to do a rental, which is like mind blowing to me, how that's a thing. But some states, they don't get the half a month or full month's rent commission. Did you even know that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Not living
when I think of that, it's crazy. Like literally, like they can't, even if they wanted to. It's not all the states. Like there's way more states that will give you half a month or close to it. But like for the most part, like I feel like we're blessed, and I think about that when I'm putting in long hours, driving around doing deals and showings and everything. Like I think about that, like we're lucky, to be able to do that. So like, if anybody's watching and you're in a state where you can, even what would you say? I have my theories on this. What would you say the minimum dollar amount, for you to do a rental deal? What's like the minimum amount you would take?
250.
Wow, that's lower than me. 250. Holy shit.
I've done that
Wow.
as long as it's by myself.
Okay. 250.
If I have to split with someone, we're at 5. Only because there are times where there are people in need and they truly don't have it. This happens maybe
Yeah.
10 times a year. They don't
Yeah.
have it. They don't have it. And who am I? And the landlord approves them and they don't really have it. There's some people who really don't have it, that they're literally showing you their all. They're putting all their cards on the table and they're literally about to walk away without getting into a home. Who am I to stop them?
Yeah. And I guess, and it leads to other things too.
It leads to everything leads to other things. Everything you do in life leads to other things. I'm really big on that. Like the universe, you know how many times I've had nothing And here comes something out of nowhere, like, here, just for you. And I'm like, I don't really even deserve this at this moment, but thank you. Like, thank
Yeah.
you. And I do believe in God. So I'm like, I pray. I'm like, thank you so much. So who am I to stop someone? No, but I don't mind. I think there was even one time I didn't charge anything. I was like, okay, you know what? My landlord really needs to rent it. Just let's sign here. Here's the keys, and walk away. And they're grateful. Like, I've probably done that a few times as well. Like, not everything's always money. And of course, everything's money. You need to live, right? But if you're doing well and you can help someone, why not? Like, it's not going to hurt you. You don't become poor by giving, and it does lead to other things, because I believe, like, why wouldn't better things happen? I believe good things happen to those who help themselves. And you know I've been able to change my life over and over and over, and having nothing. So, like, I am, like what you said, you're blessed. I feel so blessed. Like, I can't even describe to you and how blessed I feel. And when I'm able to do more for my team and the people around me, I feel so good about it. I'm not counting pennies or thinking about, oh, I have to split my commission. I don't think like that. I'm like, I'm splitting it 4 ways. Okay, we're all getting paid. Let's go. As long as you're all putting the same effort I'm in, let's do it. And, like, that's what I stand for. I stand on equality, on doing well together. And when I started real estate, I've been excluded off so many things. Like, you can't sit with us kind of thing. I've been excluded
Oh,
forever, all the time. And I felt used or abused, or someone really used me or played me, or try to take me out of a deal. And it's okay. I made my own table, and I'm going to continue to grow. And I've made my own table, where, so when people think they excluded me or counted me out or used me to get a step ahead, that's okay, because I'm just getting more opportunities.
yeah, it just built you up in the long run, which is interesting because I always like try to tell people this, the money will come. What you really want to focus on is helping people, help as many people as humanly possible, and everything else will fall into place. And like what you said before about, oh, something just came to me and I don't deserve it. Wow, it fell into your lap for a reason. It's because of all that positive, good karma that you were putting out into the world before, and you were just trying to help as many people as you can. So it came back to you. Like, what you put out is what you get. I'm a firm believer in that. And it's like proof, of everything that you're saying right now. Like, I really do think it works. So, like, if I had, one tip or one suggestion to give to any like new agents, I would just say help as many people as you can. So for you then, if you had one suggestion, one tip, like what's like the biggest thing, you could tell like a newer agent or a struggling agent, what would it be?
Is that only one thing?
Just one. Your best, your number one, your best tip, best piece of advice.
100% of 0% is zero.
I think Mark Cuban has a saying too, similar to that. He said 10% of a watermelon is still more than 100% of a grape. I think it's kind of a similar similar analogy there.
and,
Something
and,
like that.
and I'll explain what I mean. When I first joined real estate, I was really big on, I don't want to share my commission. I don't know why I had this mentality, like, oh, my commission, I don't want to spend my commission. And I would literally work by myself, and I wouldn't collaborate with other agents because I was so stuck on being 100%. And one day, I went to another brokerage, and my broker, George Castro, he was like, Jasmine, what's 0% of 100%? I said, zero. He goes, exactly. And I took that with me. And believe it or not, that changed me 100%. I started collaborating with other agents. I started doing this. I started doing that. Next thing you know, I'm teaming up with people, and it's the most money I ever made. During COVID, I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't leave the house during
Yeah.
COVID. For 3 months, I couldn't leave the house. I had 10 pre-approved buyers, and I couldn't leave my house. I have 3 kids that are at home being virtual school. So I called someone I know. I'm like, Marcus. Hey, Marcus Crawford. I was like, Marcus, I have 10 buyers. Do you want to work with them with me? I'll do everything. I'll schedule the appointments. I'll do contracts. I'll follow up. I just need you to be my feet on the ground. He said, yes. We closed 12 contracts during those 3 months. So
Ooh. And
I'm a
would you just split it 50-50?
50-50. We're even.
Yeah.
You don't get paid more. I don't get paid more. We're 50-50. So I truly believe in that. Like, there's nothing wrong. So when new agents come to me and they go, 50% is a lot. I'm like, well, you must not understand. 50% is not a lot. I have more experience than you. Why should you get more than me? I'm teaching you. And if anything, 50% to a new agent, I'm sorry, it's kind of a favor. There's some people that
I think it's
some people that don't know anything, and they're just, I think, like, new real estate agents at times, I'm sorry guys if this is not you, but a lot of them are entitled. They're walking in and they think everything's instant, and they just think they're going to make $1 million bucks just by showing up. I'm sorry. No, you're going to go through a lot of broke moments. And guess what? You're going to make money, but you have to stay consistent. And you can't be entitled and think your team lead and everyone else should make less than you. That's not how it works. Let's be fair. Being a team lead and being a broker comes with a lot of expenses. They wouldn't even know how to start that expense list. And I know because I pay them. And just be resourceful and work hard, show up and ask for business. Go to your broker, go to your team lead. What can I do? Can I sit with you? Can I shadow you? What can I do to make more money with you? Oh, I'm dying for someone to tell me that. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And how many? Yeah, I'm curious now, even too. That's great advice too. For you now, because you've been doing this for a while now. You're making more money than you ever have before. How many hours are you typically working now? Because I know it was probably different, before, but like now, how many hours a day typically do you work?
I should be working less, but I'm working more. But I would say, like, typically 6 to 7 hours a day. But that's not straight hours. Like,
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not even bad at all.
Like
That's not that. Yeah.
And sometimes not. Sometimes there's some days that I'm overly obsessed that I'll literally be in front of my computer for like 12 hours with the VAs, with this, with that, and following up and looking at everything. Like, I do have those days where, like, I am obsessed. So maybe that's the difference about me. I'm obsessed. I'm overqualified and I'm obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
I think you have to be.
I'm obsessed.
You gotta be. Yeah. I think any successful entrepreneur would tell you, because that's what we are. We're entrepreneurs. We're running our own business technically. Independent contractors, like, you have to be obsessed and you have to really love what you do. And sounds like you do. And like, the proof's in the pudding, like, it's paying off.
It is paying off. And believe it or not, I have really great days, and then I have horrible days. I'm like, what did I get myself into? But that's okay, because an hour later I'm like, you are so blessed. There's people that would die to have your bad day. So let's just snap out of it. And I have to self-talk myself, snap out of it and keep going. And thankfully my phone keeps ringing and I just keep hustling and answering the calls and making sure everything goes where it has to go accordingly. But I do have like a little nice system in place, and I'm just excited for what's to come. My goal is to be in like 10 new developments a year and continue to work with developers that I'm working with. I would love to get into land acquisitions, where I'm finding the land and offering it and getting the listing, of course, and offering it to my client and being part of the development team of ground up, and then being the leasing or sales staff. That's ultimately where I would love to be. And I'm not there yet, but I know it's coming.
Yeah, you're going to get there. 100% you're going to get there. And I like what you said there too, because obviously some of the days that just like, nothing can go right, and this might even happen like for a couple of days. Like, you might have a couple of days in a row where just like everything imaginable is going wrong. And then you have some days where everything's going right. But those days where things are going wrong were just those times. I like to think of the same thing as you. Like, that was a good saying you said, that, your bad day is somebody, somebody out there is like best day or something. Like there are people that are really, really struggling out there in the world that, I remember one time I was just driving in a parking lot, a parking garage, and I just saw a homeless person just like huddled up in the corner. It happened to be cold here in South Florida at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I just remember thinking to myself like, wow, like just seeing that, just driving through a parking garage, like his, he might not be, he's not doing great right now. So like, can I really complain if I like lose a $2,000 commission or something, lose a deal? Like if that's the worst that, it's going to be, or I have somebody complaining, that this is going wrong or that's going wrong, or they didn't sign this or sign that. Like, is it really that bad? You know what I mean? Like there are real issues and problems out there. Like that's what brings me around, thinking about those kind of things.
100%. And
Right.
one thing I did learn recently, which really humbled me, I didn't understand before. I used to think like, oh, people need to just get a job and work, or if they don't want to work, they're lazy. And I came to the rude awakening that some people are just not capable of doing that. And we should have empathy for them, because some people are not capable of keeping, they may be mentally ill, they may be sick, they may not be able to walk, they may not have a way to get to work, they may not have the appropriate clothes to wear to work, they may not have been, either they have to stay home and make sure no one steals their stuff because their lock doesn't work and they live in a bad neighborhood, or they have to go, like, these things do exist. And
It really puts it in perspective, when you're struggling and things aren't going well, you know what I mean? Because like if you're successful and you're having like an off day or something like that, like I used to get really upset. I don't know about you, because I know you said before that you got a little bit like sick at one point, kind of getting stressed out. Same thing happens to me. If I get too stressed out, like it's like clockwork. Like I will get like a cold or like whatever, right? Like if I get too stressed out, I get sick, which is like super weird, how your body reacts to that. But it's been a lot better recently now that I started kind of, I don't want to say like I don't stress at all anymore, but I stress a lot less, and I think it's a mindset and mentality thing. Like you can literally drive yourself sick, by the thoughts in your head. Isn't that like mind blowing how that works? Because like it sounds like that's exactly what happened to you.
Oh yeah, that was I honestly was the worst time of my life. I couldn't even recognize myself. People couldn't even recognize me. I was on a walker. I couldn't even make it to the back. It was the worst time of my life. And honestly, I don't even know how I got out of it. And I just out of nowhere just kept pushing myself, and I know I have to stand up. Stand up, Jazmine, stand up. Stand up, Jazmine, stand up. I got off the painkillers because the painkillers, all they were doing was making me sleep all day. And I was like, you can't, I was like, get up, let's go, we get active, eat less, drink more water. And you know what? I literally walked my way out of that situation. I kept walking and walking and being proactive and not driving. And honestly, and then of course I changed my mattress and I iced all day every day, and it helped. I'm better now, thank God, but I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how I got out of it. It's almost like a bad dream. I really thought my life was over. I really did. Like, that
And you
was
turned it around to become one of the most successful agents in EXP, because you're up there, making $250,000 icon 3 times. You're literally up there at a 90,000 agents. You got to be, especially by volume. You must be in the top 10, I'm sure, of all the agents, which is incredible to go from there, to where you are now. And the whole beauty, to bring it back full circle, is you did it off doing rental deals as a real estate agent, which is like mind blowing, for most agents to hear that. They're like, what? Like rentals, like every time I tell an agent, I made $500,000 a year off of being a renter's agent. They look at me like I have 7 heads. Nobody knows it's possible. So like that's why I wanted to talk to you, because believe it or not, I haven't done like an interview like this, like a podcast show, in probably 6 months or so.
Oh, wow.
But once you told me your story, I was like, I want to hear this, because it's not often that you hear of another agent that is doing rentals at such a high level, and I really, really, really feel like if, this was more commonplace, like agents knew about this, there would be a lot more agents being a lot more successful. And it would suck too, because it would be harder for you and me, because right now there's like no competition. You know what I mean? There's like our competition for renters, is like non-existent, which is crazy. But, even so, I would rather, there'd be more competition if it meant that more agents would succeed.
I would say, don't compete. Just join me, and let's get
the. There you go. Yeah.
You don't have to there you go. Yeah. I got the sauce. And you may have the meat. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but just join me. Let's collaborate and let's tackle. But don't collaborate with me with the mindset that you don't have to do anything. No, you have to work. There's no such thing as a golden platter. Your golden platter, you'll get it once you worked really hard, So
gotta work. Yeah.
You have to work. You have to understand people. You have to have patience, and you have to be firm. Some people talk to me crazy, and I'm just like, okay, are you done? Yeah. You have to be firm with people too, because people will take you more serious. And people take more serious if you're firm with them and you say, listen, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. This is what's going on. Do you want it or not? I want it. Okay, so let's just start over the conversation. You just have to have a lot of patience. And I thankfully I have that. And, like you said, you're blessed. I'm blessed. I can't even start on, I can tell you a million things that went wrong the past 2 years. A million things. But I feel so happy that I'm not going to do that. I feel so happy that I'm just going to talk about the positive things and wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be even better. And I'm just excited. And I am very thankful. I saw that you did that many rentals. I'm like, I found my Florida twin.
That's right.
I found my twin.
Yeah, there's one thing you said though that I don't want really to be overlooked though, because that was really important. What you said about it was basically about communication, right? So you said being firm, right? And that's what you need. You need to control, like when you're working with a whatever it is, a tenant, a landlord, buyer, seller, literally it doesn't matter, whatever it is, whoever you're working with, you have to control the situation. Like, as not in like a demanding and like mean way. I mean, you got to be the expert, you got to be the one that knows what the hell they're doing, and they're coming to you, in some form, some way or another. They're paying you, for your time, your services. You got to be the one that's leading that. I see a lot of newer agents, or just struggling agents that, are controlled and led by the client that they're working with, whether it's a tenant, like I said, landlord, doesn't matter, right? Because I work with a lot of listing agents that I could just feel it, that they're being like led and controlled by the seller of that property. And I'm like, that's not how you run a successful business. Like, you can't do that. They're coming to you for your expertise, your advice. You have to be the one to say, this is how it's done. This is the way we're going to do it. If you don't want to, you can go and find somebody else, not like that. You want to be nice about it, but in so many words, that's what it has to be. You can't be afraid to lose somebody, because if you got a certain system and strategy and, mentality and mindset that you're going to use, and it's working, and it's successful, and it's in your mind, the best way to do it, that's what you got to stick to. And you can't really back down. I literally lost a listing. I think it was like months ago, lost a listing because the seller wanted to list it for a certain price. And I was like, there's no shot. I'm like, it's just going to sit on the market for, however many months until we lower the price. And I'm like, I don't have time to waste, you know. I'm like, go find somebody else. I didn't say that to him, obviously, but I tried to convince him to take the price that I wanted, wouldn't do it. And I was like, you know what? It's not for me. Like, I can't help you there because it's going to be too much of a waste of my time. But I wasn't afraid to lose that business because I knew it was going to waste my time. And that time is valuable because there's other people that will listen to me that really do want my help. And I'm going to help those people.
Well, you're better than me. I would have took that listing. I would have took that listing.
I won't do it.
And I'll say, like, listen, it's going to say, are you okay with it sitting? Yes. Okay, no problem. When you get an appointment, you'll be happy for that appointment. I'm putting my sign, of course, advertising. Link.
Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have taken it. Maybe I made the wrong decision there. Maybe I probably should have just said, you know what, it's going to sit for a while. And if you're cool with that, then I'm cool with that. Right?
Wink, wink, my sign. Wink, wink.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. You know what? See, you're teaching me something. I didn't even think about the free advertising, you know, and I didn't even think about that. So you know what? You're probably right about that. I probably should have taken it.
I'll give you a good example. So my brother bought a house. I sold my brother his house, and it was $100,000 overpriced. I told him, let's go look at it. Let's go look at it. She ended up agreeing to $100,000 less. All it took was for one person to come in and love her home. And she was like, you know what? I'm already in the market 8 months. I'm done. Let me sign. I have to move. We bought it. Then the house next door to my brother was in the market like 6 times, probably like a year each. Again, also overpriced by about $100,000. I was like, let's just see it. Let's just put an offer on it. If it's overpriced, whatever. Let's just put an offer on it. We put an offer. They declined it. I'm not a person that takes walks from school. I don't take walks. I'm sorry, guys. I will, but not really. But I ended up that day parking in my brother's driveway and walking past the house to go pick up the kids from school. And I look, and there's a foreclosure list on the house. Ooh. I was like, really? I walked to the door, took a picture. And I called my sister. I'm like, let's resubmit the offer. She was, why? I'm like, the house is facing foreclosure, and it's the sheriff's say is in 30 days. And she's like, shut up. So I resent the offer with the picture of the sheriff's sale and the proof of it. And he was like, how dare you? I'm like, are we closing or not? They went and filed a motion. We closed the same day of the sheriff's sale.
Jeez.
The person that bought it. The person that bought it at the sheriff's sale called me. Oh, I just closed. I'm like, we just closed like an hour ago. Oh, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. You'll see it on MLS. Thanks.
Oh, man. So, look at that.
Yeah, so take an overpriced listing. Just as long as you're honest. Tell your client, listen, you're super overpriced. Do you really want to sit? Like, really, do you want to sit? No, I want my price and that's it. Okay, but we're going to sit. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
You're okay with that? Well, yes.
I was on the opposite side of that as a buyer's agent, and my buyer really wanted this house, and same kind of situation. It was close to 100,000 over what it was actually worth. And, you can't do this with a new listing because you said it's been sitting on the market 8 months. If you had done that day one, wouldn't have happened, right? It had to sit for a while because all those people that put in those low offers for month 1, month 2, even month 3, didn't get anywhere. But because you were in month 8, they were at a point where it's like, all right, like I've had enough, and I'll finally, they'll just be like, I'll take it, And I had a similar situation with a buyer I was working with. I think it was like over a few months though. And finally I convinced the listing agent to take, I think it was like 60,000, wasn't 100, but it was close to it, 60 grand under the asking price. And, she was like, we had gotten a couple of these offers, week 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And the seller was like, no, not going to take them. But eventually they'll come around. If you're persistent about it and you catch them at the right time, or you keep following up with them, it'll work. Like it works. Like, you just got to be persistent, and you got to have that never give up mentality, and things will happen.
It's about timing, and it's gonna happen or it's not. And if you're persistent, it will. I don't know. I don't give up. I'm a ride or die kind of girl. Like I'm riding. I'm a ride or die. So like the only way we're not going to do this if truly you don't want to do this. Other than that, I'm to the end, and it will sell. And I will be the list. I will be selling it.
And it's gotten you, you know, close to 200 deals done every single year, $250,000 in commission. I mean, come on, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, your story is awesome. You know, I really hope a lot of agents, you know, listen to this and, you know, get a lot of value from this. So I gotta run. But where can everybody find you?
Sold by Jazmine, Instagram, and I'm easy to find. Or you can email me at info@soldbyjazmine, soldbyjazmine.com. And Andy, thank you for having me, and best wishes to everyone. And if you're in New Jersey and you want to work, join my team.
Well, Jazmine, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Guys, I'm going to drop her contact details in the description. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought. You know, let me know what you think about doing rentals, and I'll catch everybody in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.